Okay, welcome to a new chapter on the transport in human beings. So in this chapter, we will be discussing about the cardiovascular system in humans. So in the cardiovascular system, there are two types of circulation: A, the pulmonary circulation, and B, the systemic circulation. So the pulmonary circulation mainly revolves around when blood travels from the heart to the lungs, while the circulation revolves when blood travels from the heart to various organs of the of the human body, such as the liver, the brain, the kidneys. You just need to know, just for a fun fact, you need to know that the most amount of blood which travels to the kidneys. Now it's known as circulation, since the blood which travels to the human lungs is mainly deoxygenated, and it is oxygenated once it travels to the lungs and leaves the lungs. The blood which travels from the heart to the other organs of the body, such as the liver, spleen, kidneys, intestines, this is all oxygenated. Since the human body needs oxygenated blood to use as ATP and to carry out their main metabolic activities. So now we will be talking about the differences between systemic and pulmonary circulation. You need to know that the blood leaving in the heart travels in arteries, and it is in higher per pressure than in lungs, which is under pulmonary circulation. The main blood vessels of the human body are the aorta, aorta. And what is the aorta? When the arteries combine to form the aorta, and the smallest micro branch of an artery is known as an arteriole. Similarly, multiple veins coalesce to form a vena cava. The connection between arteries and veins is carried out by capillaries. Capillaries have a large surface area so that blood can easily travel between arterioles and venules. This is a good flowchart to depict the relationship between arteries, veins, and capillaries. Now, this diagram in specific is repeatedly asked in various past paper questions. So now, first, we will talk about the chambers of the heart. There are four chambers of the heart: the right atrium, the left ventricle, and the right ventricle. Now, deoxygenated blood comes from the right atrium, goes to the lungs, and it's oxygenated there. And then the oxygenated blood comes to the left atrium. Now, you need to remember that the pulmonary vein always carries oxygenated blood. The pulmonary artery always carries deoxygenated blood. Now, the left atrium goes into the left blood from the left atrium goes into the left ventricle, and this is the oxygenated blood. Now there is a valve over here. The valves over here are known as the bicuspid and tricuspid valves respectively. So they ensure that the once it travels over, first the valves are open, and once the blood goes from here to here, the valves automatically close. So they help to ensure unidirectional flow of blood, so that the blood doesn't go again over here and becomes go to the other side of the heart. Similarly, there's also a valve over here. This is known as the semilunar valve. The semilunar valve prevents the blood from this is the deoxygenated side blood, and this is the oxygenated side blood. It prevents the blood from the two sides from mixing respectively. There's a malformation of the heart, such as patent rectus arteriosus, in which the blood from the two sides mix, and thus the oxygenated blood isn't efficiently transported to the various organs of the body. You can see here the liver, gut, kidney, leg, and all other organs are supplied with blood. Now, important thing is the hepatic portal vein. It is often tested in exam questions that which vein connects the liver and the small intestine. It is the hepatic portal vein. So you need to know that the liver also gets nutrients from the small intestine. It is the only organ to receive blood from another vein. So the now all the from all these organs, there like there's a hepatic artery, there's an hepatic vein. So the blood flows from the left ventricle through the aorta, through the hepatic artery into the liver. It correspondingly goes through the hepatic vein right into back into the right atrium. So the hepatic vein, renal vein, they all carry deoxygenated blood while the arteries carry oxygenated blood. Now we come to the dynamics of the heart. The heart works like a pump. In an average human being, the heart has a rhythm of about 70 beats per minute. It does not stop at any time. Now there are two atria and two ventricles as depicted in the image above. I have explained to you the anatomy of the heart in great detail. Now the atria have thin walls as the pressure of blood is low compared to the ventricles, which have a lot thicker walls, since the pressure of blood is much greater over there. The same thing has been depicted over here. Some in this Now this figure is also extremely important. The in the labeling of these blood vessels often comes in the exams, that which is this blood vessels. We need to know that this is the aorta and this is the pulmonary artery. Now what's the trick? How can we know? We need to understand that where it's originating from. So this is the right side of the heart, and this is the left side of the heart. So the left side, since the aorta always comes from the left ventricle, it comes from the left side of the heart, and the pulmonary artery always comes from the right side of the heart. Similar the cases with the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. Now there are two processes, systole and diastole. The contraction, of the atrial ventricles is known as the systole, whereas when the two relax, it is known as diastole. So when they contract and they shut, this makes the lub sound, whereas when they relax and they widen out, this is known as the dub sound. The lub dub sound is on also so frequent tested in the MCQs. Now, what is the pulse pressure? The pulse pressure is the difference between the diastolic and the diastolic pressure and the systolic pressure. Here, in these images, are the cross-sectional views of the different blood vessels, the arteries, veins, and capillaries. We need to know that the arteries have thicker walls since they have greater blood pressure in them, whereas have uh, veins have thin walls since they have lower blood pressure in them. We will resume our conversation in the next video.